Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here, and we do collaborations here too. It's from two breweries we actually really enjoy. Well, New Jersey up in this piece in the form of Twin Elephant Brewing and Alternate Ending Brewing. Let me see those two right there. This is their Allergic to Youth. This be a cold India pale ale. Yeah. Twin Elephant. We spoke about them and reviewed a bunch of their beers in the past. One of my favorite tap rooms in all of New Jersey. I dig on their beers. Alternate Ending. Haven't been to their brewery yet. I was actually toying with the idea of going this weekend, it being a long weekend with the 4th of July weekend. Anyway, they've sent me out beers in the past. I've reviewed their stuff, and I dig them quite a bit. Might as well see what their collaboration looks like. We can listen, collaborate, and listen. Some vanilla ice up in this piece. But yeah, it is a cold IPA coming at 7.2% alcohol by volume. Story time on it says nothing, because that's government warning. It's got a turtle. I'm like a turtle person. Little nymphy person. This comes from the Twin Elephant side of things, as far as how the label looks and whatnot. So, if it was coming from the alternate ending kind of things, it would probably have some kind of movie theme to it. So we'll see what's what. I picked this up at a local beer store, semi-local beer store, that has a bunch of both of their beers actually, usually in stock. So, yeah. Label's alright. A little departure from what Twin Elephant typically does. So we'll see what's what. As far as the beer goes, definitely looks the part of. It looks the part of an IPL. Like, cold IPA, IPL, it's different. Lager yeast versus ale yeast, but cold fermented, but it's lager fermented yeast, but warmer. Where are we floating? Again, don't brew, so it's a little bit hard for my baby brain to understand. But it looks the part of a crisp, clean, drinkable, old school, new school hazy. If you want to make that make sense, your Headies of the world, the Fiddles of the world, what they looked like back in the day in the mid-aughts or late-aughts, early teens. Soft little haze to it, not much of a head to be found. Give it a little bit of a whirl. See that head kind of comes back with some rocky soapiness. Let's get a nose. Not a big presence on the nose, not huge in aromatics, minus a big orange here. And the orange comes off very zesty, very pithy, with a little bit of sweetness, perceived sweetness. I know you can't smell sweet, but it just comes off with this kind of like orange, but organic orange, not like a candied orange or a orange Julius orange or some kind of lactosey fluffernutter brewer sugar kind of orange. It just comes off as like a pithy, kind of almost like an orange peel added kind of thing going on here. A soft little sweet, what I perceive as a malt base, but I think there's a little bit of brewer sugar, a decent amount, kind of floating around in this sucker. Keep that malt impact low. Bring those hops kind of up, and just come off with something that is snappy, crisp, impactful, albeit what a cold IPA wants to be. Yeah, let's just dive in. Cheers, all. Yeah. It comes off pretty much exactly how the nose comes off, in that it is orange leaning, very much organic. This kind of like fleshy, pithy kind of mix of an orange. Mouthfeel is not going to be confused with being turbid or dense or thick. Some might call it thin. I say it's drinkable. There's a bittering here. Again, it comes off more pithy orange bittering than an actual like aggressive kind of hop bittering, but that's where you're getting your bittering from. Obviously, there's no orange pith in here. It comes off as that cold IPA, because I lump them together. I do. I know they're different processes in their different beers, but they're very much exist in the same world. The IPLs tend to come off a little bit sweeter for me. I mean, it honestly comes off as how a brewer wants to brew things. But from my experience, cold IPAs tend to be a little bit more of a snappier, drinkable hop-wort jam. It's called a jam. Whereas IPLs tend to have a little bit more sweetness to them. That's just how I perceive them over the years. Could just be me talking out my butthole. But in this kind of comes off as a classic kind of cold IPA. Well made. Nothing as far as negativity towards it. Each sip you get a little bit more kind of bittering fluttering around there, which I actually kind of dig. The biggest thing, I'm going to sit here and kind of get my soapbox, is impact. This is 7.2%. This comes off very much like a lot of 3, maybe like high 3, low 4% kind of hoppy pales or hoppy lagers kind of come off for me. So it's that gap, it's that gulf in ABV that is really the thing that I would kind of, well, not kind of, it's what I'm going to speak on. It's the thing I'm going to hammer on it. It's that I just don't, I get it. I understand the want to make these tighter, tauter, drinkable jams, but just the ABV just kind of escapes me, you know, because I can get this. I can get, go and look for, you know, a hoppy pale lager at, you know, 4.3%. This is it. This is what I'm getting. This is pretty much what I'm going to get if I'm looking for that. Obviously, it's going to vary depending on the hops and the brewer and all the stuff that I do. As far as impact, and as far as how the beer expresses themselves, as far as just vibrance, it's drinking like a 4 and change, being generous, hoppy pale lager. But it is a 7.5% for all intents and purposes cold IPA. So I just want a little bit more from it. I understand the style. I understand what the gist is. I know what you're aiming for when you do these beers of these styles and these ABVs. But it's just, and maybe I'm, you know, again, I'm the old curmudgeon that wants impact to kind of correlate with ABV a lot of times. So I know a lot of people go, man, this beer's awesome. It's 10%, and I can barely get anything. Like, it kind of drinks like it's 5%. I live in the opposite of that world. That's where this one kind of jumps the shark for me. You know, it's a tasty bevy. You know, it's a tasty beer. It showcases a clean, taut, crispy-esque kind of beer that drinks like a lager, but exists in the IPA realm. But just that ABV just kind of misses for me. That's it. That's all I got. Really, not much else to say. Yeah, I bought a 4-pack. They'll all be drank. I'll probably give one away. Maybe give one to my buddy Keith. See what he has to think of it. But other than that, you know, if you know, isn't one of the better cold IPAs I've had. It's fine. It's tasty. It's in the conversation. I'm not going to poo-poo on it and say it's a bad beer. But I've had better. And it just comes off in that weird kind of opposite bizarre land where I want impact at that ABV percentage, regardless of what you call in the beer. Value to availability on this, I want to say I paid like $15-16. That's kind of going rate for, you know, this percentage of beer from this brewery here in New Jersey, and leave you with, if you like what we like this. Let's put it this way. If you like IPLs, if you like cold IPAs, but you're in the opposite mindset of me, which is that you want stuff that is 7% to drink like 5 as opposed to 5 to drink like 7, you will dig on this. Or if you like great breweries doing fun things, like I said at the get, you know, Twin Elephant is one of my favorite tap rooms, one of my favorite breweries in New Jersey. You know, all the stuff I've had from Alternate Ending has been quite nice. So if you want good breweries to be making good things, you want to buy this beer. Because even though maybe it's not an ultra home run for me, buying their beer makes them make more beer. It's not rocket science. So yeah, there's that. Have you been to any of the breweries? Have you had a bunch of Twin Elephant stuff? Have you had a bunch of Alternate Ending stuff? Have you had a bunch of their cold IPAs, if they've made a bunch on their own? Have you had this particular collab, this particular beer? Let's talk about it down there. So there you go. We're reviewing the Bucks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you're enjoying a little cold IPA right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.